So we've got our base right here successfully sanded up. This happens to be a piece of maple. So this is sanded to 220 grit. Feels pretty nice. Ready to go ahead and start putting some stain on this. And we're going to use a darker brown color. This happens to be called Provincial. And we're going to go over how I like to put the stain on this. So we got a can of stain right here. Definitely want to wear our safety glasses when we stir this stuff up. And we're going to stir the bottom to make sure we get any of the color pigments resuspended in the liquid. We have a nice folded up paper towel right here. Folded up paper towel is one of the most important parts of this process right here. Notice how it's folded, not crinkled up. I'll set that over here. So we're going to start on our bottom side of this this piece, so that when we're done we can set it on our bottom and let the top dry. That way if we have any blemishes or anything, it will be on the bottom. Now normally we stain over a table that's nice and clean, but there's other kids working in here right now, so we're going to do it right here. So what I like to do is we have a little brush right here. I like to dip the brush in just a little bit. That's almost too much right there. You bring it over here, and I like to go in little circular motions. The reason why I don't go back and forth is that the brush, when we do that, flicks the stain, and it winds up getting on somebody else's project. It's on our clothes. Just an overall nuisance. So I'm going to keep spreading this around. Now what I don't want to do is, on this edge over here and this edge over here, my end grains, I don't want to go ahead and hit those with the stain that's right out of here. Reason being is they take stain very, very fast. It soaks right up through there. That's the way that the tree, it's the way that the water in the tree moves up and down. So we've got it on here. You can leave it on here for a couple minutes if you wanted to. We're just going to go ahead and start wiping it off. So what happens is the paper towel gets saturated as we do this, and then we take our paper towel and we go over this edge, and we can tell that it's about the same color as this. Now if I went and took this and went like that, we wouldn't. Now the purpose of stain is to make this project a little bit more beautiful. I say it beautifies the wood. But since it enhances the beauty of the wood, it also enhances our stuff that's not so pretty. So if we take a look at the side over here, it feels pretty good, but we can see a couple of saw marks. Now, he has the opportunity, he could take this, and he could take a nice piece of 120 and he could clean that up so he doesn't see these marks right here. Or he could leave it, it doesn't matter. It would look a little bit cleaner. We would take the stain brush and we would go over the side grains. This is different than the end grain. This will take stain at the same rate as the face sides would. And then we just wipe this off. And do you think we could go over this several times with the stain if we wanted to? We could. What do you think would happen if I leave the stain on there for an extended period of time? What do you think it would do to the project?
Just get like darker.
It would. It gets darker, it gets richer. Sometimes we'll put on multiple coats. Sometimes we'll put a coat on today, maybe a coat on tomorrow, and it darkens it a little bit, but not a lot. But what it does do is it richens the color just a little bit more. Now we will eventually put a clear coat on this in polyurethane, and that will also, enhance the way that the wood looks. Same thing, it does enhance scratches and marks and stuff like that. So oftentimes this is a big learning experience here for the kids. They put the you know, the stain on the project, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh man, where'd that come from? And a lot of times people just want to rush right to the staining process, and I tell people that in order to achieve a good stain job, you have to have a good, you know, a prep job beforehand, which is everything: the cutting, the filing, the sanding. All those steps will allow us to have a very nice finished job at the end. We're gonna let him go ahead and he's gonna stain this. We're gonna take a look, see what it looks like, and we'll figure out if he wants to sand anything else up or whatnot from there. But in a nutshell, that's what we want to do. Less is more. Put a little bit on, rub it in. You can always put more on. You really can't take too much more off if it's on there. One final thing. What do you think would happen if we just left the stain on here and didn't wipe it off and it was like runny and stuff like that?
Yeah, like it was just like, it wouldn't look good at all.
Do you think that the stain would be, or the run would be stained into the project just the way it looks? Yeah. All right. Stain stains the wood. So if it's a big run, that big run's going to be stained in there, and we would definitely have to go ahead and sand that off. So we'd lose 2 days worth of work. We stained it, all right, on day one, and then on day two we got to come in. Now we need to go ahead and sand off all that stain that we put on, and then restain it. So we just lose time by doing that. So oftentimes, don't rush this process. Go into it with a plan. Make sure it looks nice. You prep. You know, you have just a much better chance of having a nice finished project if you're going into a nice prep job. So that's it in a nutshell.